Good morning from Hawaii, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today we have the amazing Nora Herold on with the Palladians, and who knows who else may come through. There's always a cast of amazing support um, and wisdom that shows up. And we have the added bonus and gift of having Jonathan Wilk with us today, who is Nora's partner for how many years now?
26 and a half.
Oh my God, amazing. 26 and a half
A
years, but
lot.
a lot. Well, I was gonna
Plus,
say,
In this
many,
life,
exactly.
the others are, it's infinite. They've lost count. So
oh my
we
goodness.
could try to get a tally, but
Let's not track that right now. I want to get into the gifts that you both are bringing into this container today. And Jonathan brings such a presence and a permissory field. Is that the right word? It's something like that. Um, and it's grounded through, he uses Reiki, and we're going to get into some of the basics of Reiki because I want to have a better understanding, to be honest with you. We've lived in spiritual community, knows heard of Reiki, Reiki, Reiki. I got started in this and this, but I don't have an in-depth understanding. And I think that may be true for a lot of us, even though we kind of accept it as something that's available to us. So I think it's really important to go down to the roots, but then to expand the consciousness also from what we're holding now. Not just Reiki being a thing or the thing, but how it evolves with us, how it evolved with Jonathan, and what it's providing at this time, because what it provided a decade or 2 decades ago was different in different ways. And so it's going to be a phenomenal conversation. So much opening, and we're going to benefit from a Reiki session with Jonathan as well, with Nora anchoring in and whatever guides are anchoring and pillaring the space as well. So it's gonna be a phenomenal call, y'all. We'll get into live Q&A also. And before we dive in into saying hi to John and to Nora, I also want to say that the special offer really is special today. It's something that you want to check out. There is an opportunity for a private session with John, and then there's these amazing transmissions and wisdom drops and activations and just amazing teachings from Nora as well. And we'll get more in detail about that special offer later, but I wanted to share that now in case any of you are just absolutely know and want to book sooner rather than later. The link's in the chat box and you can follow that. And with that long introduction, my heart doesn't want to stop, but I will. John, Nora, welcome to the call. It's great to have you here.
Hi,
thanks,
John.
John.
Mm.
It's so great to be here with you. So it's our 10-year anniversary, Mr.
Today?
Burgos, this month.
Oh, this month. Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
No, with you.
Wow. Oh, with
With
us.
with
Oh my
you.
God. That's right. You guys had 20 something years. What am I talking about?
Yes,
Um,
the two Johns is going to be confusing during the show. I was thinking of different names to assign to each of you so I don't confuse you. But yes, it has been. This is my 10th year of being a guest on your
wow.
show and your program, and I thought, well, it's time to bring my John on with me
Mm,
because for anyone who's participated in my work over the years, you know that John is very much a presence. He's always there to facilitate, not just in moderating, but as a channel and a Reiki master and a source of energy and love and healing and wisdom himself. And it's just time for the world to have him.
mm.
I've I've mostly had him to myself and and let him tag along for, 26 and a half years.
Yes, I've
But
been curated for a long time at the expert hands
You've
of
been trained properly after a couple of
trained
decades.
trained by the
Yeah.
great Nora.
well, it's funny that he says that, but when we first met, I had been working professionally as a channel and a reader and a healer for 1 year.
Mm,
John was already a Reiki master when he and I first met. And the collaboration between the two of us has been constant, continuous.
Wow.
Yeah. So we balance each other out as he attuned me to all of my levels of Reiki. I facilitated him opening up in his direct voice channeling. We're like a X-File two-headed monster of love.
You guys have navigated some things. I'd love to get into an explanation of what Reiki is, how it is that you interact with it for the benefit of the people that you work with, and just to give some insight and clarification as to this amazing technology that's available to us. But again, like I said earlier, I think most of us in these communities have a vague understanding of what's really available.
Take it away,
Um,
John. Yes.
okay. I wasn't sure if that was my
It's
cue or
it's definitely your cue, yes,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nora. Um, yeah, Reiki, let's see, it's a Tibetan practice that, that goes back a long ways, probably thousands of years that, it was developed or discovered by, the Tibetan monks. Um, for me, I'm a musician, so when I think of like music or spiritual connection, to me, like Reiki is like a place. It's a place where where there's a level or a stream of consciousness. Um, so it's so basically, yeah, like with Nora, I act as a channel for that place, for that level or that type of consciousness to come through me, and then I transfer it to the client, the receiver. On a more scientific way of understanding it, every time I do Reiki, I always get a sense or even like the word voltage. With voltage is electrical pressure. So basically, the idea is when you're having, whatever discomfort, pain, disease, whatever, however it manifests in your body, in your person, there's a drop or an inconsistency in in that voltage pressure in the cells. And
Mm,
I can even I've had conversations with my people, so to speak, and they've said that it's in the mitochondria. The mitochondria are generators of energy, and there's trillions in your body. And they basically, their biggest job is to transfer the energy that you take in from food and air and other nutrients and turn that into energy for your body to use.
mm,
So Reiki is basically both a way of identifying where the blocks in that energy flow is, and then enhancing it and kind of correcting it or balancing it, making it whole again, making it operate in a healthy way.
mm.
Is that a good start?
No, that's a great start. And
Okay.
I'd love a clarification between what it
Yeah.
takes to, because there's a lot of people that say that they're Reiki practitioners or
Hmm.
they're studying to become a Reiki practitioner. Again, we've heard that a lot.
Right.
What's the requirement and what's being studied to become a practitioner now? What are they accessing in the knowledge and application? And then what's the navigation to someone like you you've been practicing this for over a quarter of a century.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Put it that way.
over 30 years,
Over
maybe
30
Yeah,
years.
about
almost.
So,
30 years at this
Yeah.
right.
point.
So
Yeah.
the difference between someone who's learning and obviously
Yeah.
accessing and developing and what they hold and what you understand that you hold now, not only with the 30 years
Hmm.
of deep devotion to it, but also how you've evolved and where you are in your consciousness and what you see as being facilitated because of your own individuated journey and devotion to this path.
Okay.
I know a
Well,
lot of
the
questions,
first,
but you got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
I know.
Um, the thing that comes to mind first is that when you ask me about like how have I evolved and how have I see things different, and I've seen this both in clients and in myself, is a lot of times the healing that comes from Reiki um, it's not always obvious. It doesn't always, it's not as necessarily dramatic. You might have you probably will have a reduction in pain or tension or discomfort. But like I look back now and I didn't, there were plenty of instances where I received, very deep healing, but I just, since I didn't have specific pain in those areas, it took me a while to realize, oh, wow, I mean, I could see where I could have, whatever, slid into more, whatever, either, health issues or other bad habits. But I could see now where the Reiki actually kind of kept me on the right track, so to speak, and kept me in a state of balance, a state of health. And I've had that experience too, where, it's clear to me that something's happening, but it might take the client a few days, a few weeks even to really realize, oh, wow, I'm something's different now. I feel like, I'm more confident. I feel more healthy. I have a little more energy. So I don't know, have I got, are we,
Yeah,
is that the
I
answer to your question? Is that answer some of your question at least?
it does. It answers a bit of
Okay.
it. And again, when someone's first getting into it, like
Okay.
becoming a Reiki practitioner,
Yeah.
what's involved in that, and what do they have to carry to even begin to be able to share this in an authentic way with other people? Because what
Okay.
I noticed in you
Yeah.
is that there's something quite beautiful in that. I feel you, that even as you even talk about it, it's like you step out of its way and you
Mm.
allow the technology, the energy to do what it's doing, and it's not about you, which is so fascinating, but at the same time it is, which is that's really a masterful place to work with others. It definitely
Thank you.
demonstrates a tremendous maturity
Mm.
with utilizing a gift that's really been gifted to us for the healing of all of us. So it's wonderful. So back to
Hmm.
the original question.
Yeah. So, okay.
Well, how does someone get started in this?
How does someone get started?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thank you. And thank you for the wonderful acknowledgement. That's really sweet. Um, what I always look for when I'm teaching Reiki, and I try to emphasize with my students, is sincerity. I mean, that's to me is the cornerstone. You have to, it's got to be in your heart. It's got to feel like, like part of your larger self, your soul, your essence, that, you want this connection and you want to be part of that flow of healing.
Mm,
Um, Reiki does involve some like, physical like rituals and, there's symbols and and all these, there's like steps to it, like basically. But a lot of it, is one is attitude, like I said, the sincerity, and then the
mm,
second part of that, which is maybe not as common in our world, is developing the connection. So
mm,
for someone who's just starting, it's it's like when like everyone has some degree of, like, say, some kind of psychic tendencies or psychic abilities or talents. But what, especially as children, we're kind of told to, like, oh, that's just coincidence, or that's silly, or, you notice you've seen whatever 5 red cars on the highway, or you notice you keep running into the same person at the grocery store, and then you think, well, does it really mean anything? But if you allow your intuition to just kind of play out, you'll realize, oh, well, there's a connection there.
mm,
There's a symbol to it, or there's a meaning to it. And once you allow that to flow more, that's where, like, the like Reiki type of connection is a lot easier to develop. And I think that's where a lot of people who are, supposedly like brand new to it, that's kind of the threshold to get over, is trusting your intuition more. Because one of the most meaningful and beautiful parts of Reiki is when you really let go and allow that bigger consciousness or that bigger voice to speak to you. And then it's like, oh my, wow. And then a lot of, when I started Reiki, I thought I knew a few things. I'd read a lot and I'd done some spiritual this and spiritual that and meditating. But like, it was a nice coincidence because I had gotten into like angels and archangels maybe 3 or 4 years before I started Reiki. And then with Reiki, there was just like almost like a floodgate of like angelic presence and information. And it was, sometimes, I mean, to be honest, sometimes it was overwhelming because I was like, oh my God, sometimes these beings represent, I mean, they're big. They can represent themselves as physically very large and very powerful, and sometimes I would just be like, oh, okay, like, what do I do? What do I do? Um, but
You choose a partner who carries big energy to kind of calm it down.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, go talk to Nora, buddy. You talk to Nora first.
I mean, I'm amazed that I sat here for 16 minutes and didn't say a word. Like, what is
What is
happening?
happening?
Amazing. John was guided into Reiki. He didn't consciously seek
Mm,
uh, the path.
Yeah, it was a bunch of coincidences,
He was seeking guidance and
supposedly.
healing. Yeah, guidance and healing and connection. And he showed up for an appointment, and the psychic he was supposed to have an appointment with had had an accident, and John ended up having a
mhm,
lengthy conversation with the woman at the shop who happened to be a Reiki master, and she became John's Reiki master.
Mm,
And John, when he found that for himself, accelerated through very quickly. So you
mm,
talk John Burgos here about the levels, the what you go through. You can go, there are a series of attunements, and there are different versions of Reiki. There's Usui and Kundalini, and then there is something that John and I practice, which is a very accessible form of Reiki, which holds the truth that every single one of us is a facilitator of our own healing process.
mm,
And that when you show up for someone else in the role of Reiki healer, Reiki master, Reiki teacher, you are here, I am here, John is here to facilitate your process,
mhm.
right? So it's a very, you spoke about this earlier, John Burgos, so beautifully. I think you were talking about John's ability to remove his personal attachments and ego in the moment to allow
Mhm.
it through. And that doesn't mean that John doesn't have an ego and attachments.
You laugh. We won't get into that
Or
conversation.
me, or
that's
you,
another
right?
show
We
altogether.
we
Yeah.
all have that. And yet you are right. When John is in that space, in this space, what comes through him is just pure love and support without judgment, creating a container of safety and healing that can facilitate anything from physical issues to mental to emotional to things like so John and I have practiced individually Reiki, and then we've practiced together as well. We once had somebody come to us jointly who could not pass her exam to become uh, something in her field.
Mm,
And she'd taken the test 3 times, had failed, and she just couldn't do it again. And I said, why don't you have a Reiki session? Let's go in and see what might be standing in the way here. And while on the table, she went back to being 8 years old. She was in a
wow.
school play. She got up to say her part, forgot all her lines, and ran off stage crying. And that earlier trauma kept asserting itself every time she sat down to do the test. She had her Reiki session with John and uh, passed her test, and is
Wow.
decades later continuing to practice in her field of specialty. I'm not going to
Ah,
say
that's
because we
beautiful.
don't give personal information outright, but yeah, it's a big deal. So Reiki can be used for so many things. John, on his way to the dog park, will send a transmission of Reiki to ensure that things are smooth and easy and joyful and playful and conflict free, or if conflict arises, that the ability to facilitate a clearing of that conflict will present itself. So Reiki has extremely practical applications
Yes, the
in
famous
our
dog park
life.
Reiki sessions. Yes.
And there's a special Usui symbol for the dog park Reiki.
That's great. You mentioned symbols. I want to ask that about a second, but I want to
Mhm.
prepare you all on the call if you happen to join late. We are going to receive a gift of a group session, a Reiki session on today's call. So y'all get settled in and comfortable. Try not to be multitasking if you want to receive. Um, I highly recommend just presence and an open heart. So we'll get into that in a minute. I want to ask the guides in just a second, but before I ask the guides to come in and really get their awareness of, I'll call it this technology and technologies that are available to us. Talk to us more about the symbols and what they do. And Jonathan, maybe that's for
Is
you.
my
Yeah.
turn?
Yeah.
Or
Yes,
did, Nora, did you
it's
want to say something first or
no,
no?
no, no, you go
Okay.
for it, honey.
Okay, symbols. Okay. Well, they're in modern version of Reiki, or what we call Reiki. There, I think there's different authors, different Reiki masters who have both transferred the symbols through the founder Usui, and others who have added other symbols. Some come from an Indian lineage, some come from the Tibetan lineage, and it goes on and on. All in all, I am aware of, both from reading and from my own connection in my own, whatever you want to call that, consciousness. There are over 300 symbols, and so but like I said, there are six main ones that are taught. Both the first three are taught in the second degree of Reiki, and then the second three are taught in the third degree of Reiki. I like the symbols right away. Some Reiki practitioners tend to either not use them or use them sparingly. But there's a fascinating thing about connecting with the symbols if you're open to it. Like, for one, the one that's probably most popular is one that transcends space and time. So
Mm.
you can, let's say, if you feel like, if you realize that something that happened a few years ago or in your childhood is coming up, and you're feeling sad, lonely, whatever, you can send Reiki with that symbol to the past to help heal that issue. You could send Reiki to the future, like with Nora saying, like, if you're taking a test, you're doing a job interview, you're having a big meeting, and you're trying to, whatever you're doing, selling your product, etc. You can send Reiki to enhance the energy, the tendency, the intentions of that meeting or that event, so that you'll feel more comfortable, you'll feel more confident, and you'll be able to achieve your goals more easily.
Hmm.
So, others, basically one symbol is more about the physical, another one's about the emotional body. The third one, like I say, is more about space and time. And then the other ones are kind of a takeoff on those, more centered on, like, more of the subtle energy. I guess is the simplest way to say it, where you're like, one, to me, I always just heard the word battery. It's like about charging the battery. It's about
Wow.
giving like an extra boost. Other people will have a different interpretation, and that's fine. Some people will say, oh, it's joy or it's excitement or whatever. That's fine, whatever. But that's my personal interpretation of it.
It's funny because as you're describing it and sharing so many symbols, even with just the six symbols, the combinations of them create so many potentials. And you talk about
Yes.
300s, talk about like the keys and the piano and how many songs can we create,
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
infinite, but how wonderful, because it feels like it's really meeting us uniquely where we are, instead of being so standardized that it's only like a collective. So, uh, is there anything that the guides have shared with you, Nora, either the Pleiadians
Yeah.
or please, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so
I mean,
curious.
is there anything they've shared?
Well, maybe,
No, it's all
Anything?
quiet, but
No, no,
a little
it,
bit, a little
that you'd
bit.
like to
wait,
share
wait, wait,
with
wait.
us today.
Wait, first, I have to say, like, what a fantastic thing
Uh,
that you just did there is you used the metaphor of the piano with
mm.
a classically trained pianist, John. That is
Yeah.
John's origins with music. He started taking
Oh,
piano when he
wow.
was very young, right?
Well,
So
origins.
I
I
mean,
close.
mean,
and well, in this life, that was John's first instrument was the piano, and
Mhm.
John doesn't is not talking right now much about his music, but his musical compositions are all included with Reiki and healing, and
Wow.
the there is his music included in our package when we
yeah,
talk about it.
I
So it's
just,
another way.
I just want to interject just a tiny bit here.
Ooh, I'm having
One
deja
really
vu.
wonderful insight that my Reiki master, who was absolutely wonderful, and again, like I said, as I said earlier, years later, I realized how profound of an impact she had on me. I'm still realizing things that she
Mhm.
helped guide me towards and kind of gave me that energetic support to get to. She told me in one session that she was whatever given translated that music has, she calls it like there's the frequency or the tones that you hear, and then there's like she called it a carrier wave, and the carrier wave is a healing energy. And I was like, whoa. I mean, again, that just sat with me for weeks. I was like, what, I think of different songs that affected me different ways and different types of music. And, either maybe they relaxed me, they got me excited, or just, like one simple example was that, I remember always, whenever I'd hear James Taylor, like just the words, like everything's okay would kind of just come to me, or this feeling of just like, like relaxation, and it was just coming from him, it's just Taylor's own, that's just his vibe, his energy. But there was always something in some part in the guitar part, or there's the way he sang a certain thing, and I'd be like, oh, I could almost see it, but I could like physically feel that tone,
I
that energy come through.
I love that because this points out to what you were speaking of earlier is like, we receive things on the surface level, but then they penetrate.
Right.
And if we can be and allow for that penetration, there's wisdom, there's intimacy, there's heart opening, there's discernment, awareness that comes in. Um, and that note lingering, it's through the emotionality and the receptivity, we allow it to penetrate us in ways that we're forever impacted and healed in a lot of ways also as we allowed it to seep in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Wow. Ah, it's profound. Love that. Nora, what have you witnessed in the healing through John sessions?
What have I witnessed?
Yeah.
Oh, I have witnessed incredible
Oh,
things.
she's
I've
witnessed. She has witnessed.
That's why I'm asking. I can only imagine. Yeah.
I'll tell you the thing that struck me about John when I first met him 26 and a half years ago in a metaphysical bookstore in Niles, Illinois, where I was reading tarot cards every Friday night at the beginning of my career. What I immediately noticed about him, other than I recognized him from a dream I had when I was 12 years old, so I knew him immediately, was his availability. John
Mm,
is extremely emotionally available. And that emotional availability lends itself to the question you were asking earlier, Mr. Burgos, about what somebody needs to be able to be a greater facilitator
mm,
of your own healing process and the healing process of those around you. The other thing I've noticed about John, I noticed immediately, was his honesty.
mm.
John is, I don't think he really can lie. Or if he can, he's very, very good at it. Because when you're with a psychic, it's pretty hard to lie. So, right, it's good that he's not very good at it at all. I mean, I'm sure there are things, whatever, right? However, he is very quick to recognize when those distortions are existing in the field around him, in people he's talking with, those he works with.
Mm,
It's at times challenging to be a human as he is and be so emotionally available, incredibly sensitive, and constantly tuned into the many layers of communication that we are all experiencing, right? So John will hear somebody's full truth no matter what they're saying in the moment. This goes a very long way in helping him to be an excellent facilitator of someone else's healing because they may think this is what's going on with them. And John will immediately recognize there's something else altogether and then will take his time in a gentle fashion to help them access, recognize, and unpack it.
Mm.
I think one of the most miraculous things we experienced was we had a neighbor. John had a neighbor come to him who had just been diagnosed with a tumor. And while on the table, she disclosed some earlier childhood abuse after John's method of patiently asking questions until she was safe enough to reveal that piece. And that Reiki went where it needed to go. In this moment, it went into the past. It went to every moment of her that needed it.
Mm.
And when she returned to her doctor, the tumor was gone. Now, that was also her work, her willingness to
Mhm.
be in that space. And here's the thing with healing as a facilitator for someone else's healing process, we are limited to the person. And as John said earlier, that process can take months or even years.
Mhm.
Reiki doesn't stop once the Reiki session stops. It is a continual process. Okay. You asked about the guides and the Pleiadians earlier. I can feel them.
I was feeling them too, so yes,
Like
it's
I
like
can never feel them, right? So here's what they're telling me. They're going to come and talk for a little bit and then hand it off to John to do his process of
Mm.
group Reiki. Does that work?
that's wonderful, yeah.
Or do you want to do something different, John Burgos?
No, let's do it, and then we'll go through the special offer later because y'all will have an
Perfect.
opportunity to work
Great.
with John and to receive this energy. So this
Excellent.
is
Yeah,
so
yeah, I want
wonderful.
people to have that. Yeah, to okay.
Mhm.
Greetings, John.
Mhm.
Greetings, other John. Greetings, everyone. This is the Pleiadians, as always. It is so wonderful to be with all of you beautiful universal beings of love. So, what Nora is doing right now, using her voice, her heart, her energy to translate our vibration, our frequency, our love, is equal to what John does when he does Reiki, as opposed to him using his voice as the instrument. He uses the palms of his hands that allows that transmission to move in as it does with Nora right now. So channeling Reiki is a form of channeling. You can look at it as non-verbal channeling. That's one of the ways we like to offer it to you all. So when he tunes in, when Nora tunes in and connects to align specifically with that Reiki consciousness. And we love that John offered that perspective on Reiki today. It is a consciousness, a place, a realm, a zone of feeling, of healing and feeling that does not exist far away in some higher dimension in the corner of the universe. It exists right here within you all. And Reiki unlocks the door to it from within and allows you all to begin accessing greater amounts of your own ability to facilitate your own healing process on energetic, mental, emotional, and physical levels, spanning the totality of your experience here on planet Earth. Take a breath, all of you, and just kind of let yourselves align with this. We want to also talk just for a moment about the intensity of this period of time that you
Mhm.
have landed in. And we have spoken at length over the last year, over the many years that we have come through, Nora and others, about this period of time that you are in. This is it. You are in the epicenter of your shift in consciousness. You are in it. A shift in consciousness means physical shifts, shifts to your structures, emotional shifts, mental shifts. It means, for right now, for a lot of you, that you are looking at some chaos on your world. Now, shift doesn't necessarily imply chaos. The chaos exists due to unresolved and unhealed and untransmuted trauma. So Reiki is excellent at addressing unhealed and untransmuted trauma, whatever pieces you are carrying. And number two, the chaos exists in part due to the loop of suffering that you are all stuck in on planet Earth, that you have been in for a very long time, due to a program that you all carry that tells you suffering is needed for growth. Take a breath. We go on and on about this. We've been going on and on about this suffering piece for a while right now, because it's so deeply embedded in your psyches that suffering is necessary, that it's here in part due to karma, personal or collective. There's no getting around it. So you have to open up to it, you have to experience it. And then that causes you at times, sometimes, to excuse perpetrators and excuse suffering because you think it's a necessity, which it is not. From our perspective, it is not. You have landed since the winter solstice of 2012 into a collective consciousness where you can deactivate the programming that suffering is necessary. But certainly the majority of collective humanity has not caught on to this yet. So this is part of the moment of chaos at hand. One of the things we offer to help you all stay grounded, stay present, live your lives, because you still have to live your lives within the midst of the drama. And this in and of itself is a magic act, right? That you're having to get up, go to work, pay your bills, make food for yourselves, right? Take care of yourself still while the entirety of the container of your reality is shifting. You're doing, it's a yes and you're doing both at once. So we offer you all the suggestion that you feel whatever it is you need to feel in the moment without judgment. All of your feelings, no matter what they are, they have value, they are instructive, they point things out to you about yourself and the world around you. The more you do this, the more you accept yourself as you are, the more quickly you return to joy from within. The more this allows you to activate genuine joy from within, the more this joy goes into your day-to-day life, into your interactions, into the field of energy around you. The more you become a facilitator of a joyful shift for collective humanity. All right, so we're going to hand you to John Wilk here and let him take this away. And we aren't going anywhere. So, John Burgos, if you want to come back to us at any point, we're, of course, always here, as are the fairies and Yeshua and all the rest. But we'll have John Wilk take the group through a healing process now.
Let's have John take it. I'm muting myself and turn off my video because I am participating as well. Hope y'all relax, take a deep breath, and just open. I invite you to open to receive this beautiful gift that we're getting on BTO today. And Jonathan, it's all yours.
Great. Thanks, John. Thank you, Nora. I thank the Pleiadians. The word realm resonated very nicely. I like that. Okay. First, yeah, I'd like to welcome everybody um, to the realm. And I just want to start with a little breathing relaxation method exercise that we can do for a couple minutes, and then we'll get into the actual Reiki. So I just like you to sit in your, assuming you're sitting on some kind of a chair, couch, feet on the floor, hands on your knees, and then I just want you to take nice and slow, deep breaths. And I'm gonna count to 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, and then just hold it. Hold the breath for another 4 counts. Okay, and then just exhale slowly, and we'll count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just hold. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And then exhale again, and just do that. And as you're exhaling, just let everything go. Let any tension, anything that feels uncomfortable, just let go. And as you're breathing in, let your belly expand. Let yourself just feel getting bigger, just expanding, opening up. And then as you're exhaling, just letting go. And just nice and easy, nice and slow. Just intend for just relaxation to just completely take over your body, your energy, your spirit. Everything, let everything just flow as naturally as it can be. Then a couple more breaths. Okay, and just keep breathing at that pace. And now I want you to just to let come into whatever in your consciousness. Is that, do you have any pain in your body? You have a headache, any stomach ache? Maybe you have pain in your joints, muscle pain. Maybe you just are feeling sad today, or alone, or maybe you feel like you're not feeling confident the way you'd like to, or successful, or whatever it is, whatever comes to mind. So just focus on that and breathe into that. And now I just want you to make an intention to heal, to let that heal, whatever that is. I want to feel more confident. I have a pain in my elbow. I want to feel freedom of movement. I want to not feel pain when I, move my mouse or write my name. Whatever it is. When I'm walking, I have a pain in my ankle, pain in my foot, whatever. Intend for that pain to just flow out and leave your body, leave your consciousness. And I'll just do a couple of Reiki symbols and Reiki moves here, and then we'll just keep breathing. Okay, and just keep breathing, keep relaxing, keep allowing that flow. And whenever everybody's ready to come back to the show, um, I'll let John let us know when he feels ready.
Oh, oh, thank you, John. I'm coming back, but everybody stay in your own pace of what you're receiving from this. And I can share my experience of spaciousness and peacefulness that came in. Was really quite beautiful. John, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you, John.
What do you notice when you guide a session like that within you?
Mostly, yeah, like you were saying, yeah, there's definitely a sense of peace. Um, I'm aware of the support beings, I guess you could call them. In Reiki, we say that we have, Reiki masters and Reiki guides uh, assisting. And like,
Mm.
as I said before, I have a connection with angels and archangels, so I always call on my special group. If to me special, I mean they're everywhere. So but I definitely call on several archangels. Um, yeah, and just I mean the word humble comes to mind. I just feel so
I feel you.
humbled by just being able that I'm doing that I'm part of this and that other people are connecting. And well, I also just as a little bit of a extra thing. Nora and I have been doing classes and sessions online, especially since COVID. Um, and I can't stop being amazed at the miraculous, beautiful, loving energy. I mean, we're talking to people thousands of miles away, some in other continents and other
Mhm.
countries. So we might have 5 people, we might have 10 or more people, all over the world, and they're all feeling that vibe. And the vibe just, even though we're not even, we're in very different places
Right.
geographically, at least energetically and heart wise and love wise. I mean, it's even more palpable not being in the same room with people sometimes, which again, to me is it's just an ongoing miracle that.
It's fascinating for me because the vision that I get and Nora, I'm feeling Caliandra so strong. Maybe it's just me, but I'm
Mm.
feeling her so strongly. And if she'll give me a minute, but just to describe what's coming through. But as you're speaking, John, and I'm realizing that individually we're doing this, we've have protocols, techniques, rituals that allow us, that give us access to this as well, and that we're holding that space for one another as we become even more healed in our process. But it feels like the stability of crossing through a wormhole and the capacity to masterfully hold that vibrational state where that wormhole provides the tunnel to another dimension rather than collapsing onto itself. And I think for many years, a lot of us were good at glimpsing through the wormhole, but it would collapse because we were still healing collectively and individually in different ways. But we're becoming more attuned and adept at holding that field steady enough that we're having more intimate experiences going back and forth of an intelligence that maybe we've never accessed as humans, not as a collective anyway, or not as a majority even, that we would say the masters held, and they were bringing those teachings back. But again, because more people like you and Nora and the work that we do and the work that this community does and that devotion to it, that the stability of that field and access is becoming much more stronger in its foundation. And how wonderful, how exciting to be in these times. We can talk about chaos and destruction, but look at what we're building also. And wow, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, what we actually are. And, and as we've all experienced, sometimes this journey and this life that we're living is is about kind of forgetting that, so we
Mm.
can have our whatever, our learning, our dramas, our interactions, our relationships, and so forth. But when we really, like you say, when we let ourselves remember those aspects, those deeper aspects, I mean, you know, yeah, it's limitless. We are masterful and magical and you know incredible, whatever it is, whatever this is, what beings, consciousness. And again, like it's so incredible and wonderful to experience when you're, for me at least, when we're both, I know I'm me, but now I'm also with, I'm more. There's just this sense of, oh, I'm big, and we're all big. We have this,
Yeah.
this really beautiful connection and well, I don't know what to call it, a gestalt, a transformation,
For sure. Nora and maybe Caliandra wants to come through. I'm certainly not insisting, but I'm feeling so much in my upper heart and throat. I'm not sure if y'all in the audience are feeling something being activated as well, but it's certainly my experience. And I'm curious, Nora, from listening to this part of the conversation and the experience we just had, and um, what you would want to share that's arising as well. And also curious what Caliandra might say. So I'm
Well,
just
I love that you're calling on Kalyandra because I don't regularly channel Kalyandra and haven't for years,
she's
right? I
mm,
moved from Kalyandra to Ursula at some point, and but Kalyandra's like thrilled to be called on.
amazing. She
So
came in
let
so
me,
strongly. Yeah.
yes, this is Kalyandra.
I think I know why now. Okay.
Thank John for calling upon me. So, for those who don't know me, I am Kalyandra. I am fifth dimensional fairy. I am the first fairy, Nora, direct voice channeled back in 2011.
Mm,
So, she's Ursula and other fairies over the last few years, but I was the first. She did connected with in this way. And part of the reason you were inviting us in at this time, John, is because as you and John were talking about the sharing of energy, the space, the structure, where you all have landed, you were keying into how fifth dimensional technology is
mm,
currently being utilized by all of you in human form on planet Earth at this time. And we, the fairies who are here to assist, are predominantly fifth dimensional in our vibration. So for Nora, when she first consciously connected with me, Kalyandra, it was an evolutionary moment for her in both the integration of her own fifth dimensional consciousness and identity and an accessing of that fifth dimensional space while here on planet Earth. So you were asking in part for us to come
mm.
in to remind you all that this is possible to all of you. Take a breath right now and remember you are your higher self. You are your fairy self. We see those terms as interchangeable. Higher self, fairy self. The fifth dimensional realm is the fairy realm. And when we use the term the fairies, it's an umbrella term that encapsulates many different kinds of energies and frequencies and vibrations that have manifested themselves into your consciousness and awareness as different forms. For instance, the elves, the gnomes, the pixies, the brownies, the dragons. You may notice Nora has dragons on her shirt. We asked her to wear her dragon shirt today because the dragon energy
Mm,
is presenting itself on your world. Predominantly, the dragon energy needs to come through your voices, through your throats. It is a direct connection to your fifth dimensional power, allows you to say no to the abuses of power that are occurring on your world, and in a very focused way, yes, to that which you wish to construct, that which you are constructing. But the other reason, John, you asked for us is because there is often in this whole world of, well, your whole world, but this whole world of new age, metaphysical, spiritual understanding, heaviness and seriousness that starts to get applied. And what that does is it lowers your vibration. We are here to remind you that the lighter from within you are, the more joyful, the more playful, the more ridiculous you are, the farther you can go right now, the more you can heal.
mm,
And that doesn't mean discount any of the horrors that are occurring on your world. Do not discount them. Do not avert your eyes. Allow yourself to see it all and to feel what you need to feel about it. And then return to your lightness of being and joy from within and create from this space.
mm. The first syllable that came out was like joy, thank you, immediately. And it made so much sense. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. How can we be in the circulation of joy and still be attending protest and rally and see indignation through our interpretation of it, but still carry the fluidity of that high vibrational happiness of the joy?
So, yes, that's such a great question. Joy, the joy we're speaking about, is not an emotion,
Mm,
it's a vibration. It's your fifth dimensional operating system. You can be mad as hell in your body, in your emotions, and you all should be right now.
mm,
If you are not accessing your anger, you are doing yourselves a disservice. Anger is the emotion that lets you recognize when your boundaries are being violated. And the boundary violations right now are off the charts.
mm,
So feel your emotions fully without judgment, which allows you direct access to your fifth dimensional technology, which is vibratory in its nature. It is a lighter technology. You can't fuck that up. You can't put anger in your 5D energy. But if you repress feeling your anger, your sadness, your grief, your hurt, your fear, your worry, that repression of emotion will disallow you from fully accessing your fifth dimensional technology,
mm.
which then disallows you from accessing that kind of joy that you're talking about.
How do we anchor in that vibrational tone more consciously? Is it gratitude work? Is it recognition of gifts that we have in our life? How is it that we can be in accord with that note that we want to be playing on our instrument?
Yes, this is the Pleiadians. We're going to jump in and take this. One, it's be as real as you possibly can first,
Mhm,
right? Don't love and light it. Don't sugarcoat it. None of that is effective.
mhm.
All that does is cause disassociation. You and Nora were joking about this earlier and the need
Yeah.
for disassociation at this times. And yes, if you all
I'll take a
disassociate,
martini, please.
yeah,
Thank you. Yes.
exactly, right? For Nora, it's binge watching a TV show, right? That's
Yeah.
her tool for up and out, right? So give yourselves breaks when you need them. Absolutely 100%, whatever that looks like to you. Put your attention on yourself, your self care, and remember It is joyful to be of service.
Mm.
See protesting as an act of service. See demonstrating as an act of service. As an act of service, not just for the collective, but for yourself as well, because you are part of the collective. This is a true understanding of oneness, right? You are one. Whatever is happening to the most vulnerable around you right now is happening to you personally. You are experiencing it, and giving yourself permission to feel it will allow you to do exactly what you're asking about as well, John. Hold that higher perspective, because we often see on your world this kind of, oh, well, if it's not happening directly to me or someone I know, I'm not really affected by it. That's disassociation. That is someone half out of their body,
Yeah.
not willing to feel the reality of your moment. And you all need to be real about this moment to bring joy to this moment. And this is Nora. And of course, there's a way to weave that joy into, like, I attend demonstrations and protests and actions. For those of you who have known me for a while, I'm very politically active as well as spiritually, and do comedy, right? This is this whole thing for me of there is no separation. And when I am in those spaces, while using my voice and accessing my anger, I am also hugging people and talking to all of the people around me and sharing love and smiles and laughter, like weaving my joyful persona into the moment of demonstration as a way to offer that to the group.
Mm. That's so beautiful. It's
Can I, oh,
the
sorry.
I was gonna say the transmissions of truth that are coming in and how they like ease the heart and the field. It's the congruency of it is so beautiful. And John, please, I didn't mean to interrupt you, please.
Oh, no, it's all
And
right.
I want you to share, and then I want to get into the special offer because I want everybody to have the opportunity to go deeper with both of you, y'all. You get to have a session with John, you get to go into the teachings and into the wisdom and the transmissions from Nora and the different guides that show up um, from what's being shared there. But Jonathan, you were gonna say,
Yeah, I was just going to give a little different angle on your question about how do we, you know, and, keep the joy going, basically.
yeah,
The word that comes to mind is present. To be the more present we can be, just let go of the thinking and the judgments and all that, and the more we can just be present in the moment. I mean, if you really allow that to happen, then the joy kind of just naturally comes up. It's because that's what life joy is is a concurrent energy. And then I just also wanted to bring up, since you're Nora, since you're bringing up protesting a lot, is the we going back to Guerneville, we had a really meaningful conversation with a woman who had gone to some protest, and she was talking about that she could see that, whatever the emotion of the crowd was, that there were beings that were like feeding off of that energy. She could, again, however you want to interpret that, everyone might see that a little differently. So in other words, if the crowd is angry, then beings who feed off of anger and then produce more anger are going to show up. But if you can come to a protest and be joyful, then beings who are in a joyful place will show up. It's just, like attracts like kind of thing. So I think that's a very
Let me interrupt here,
yeah,
though.
yeah.
I need to interrupt on this, because this is where we go into a dangerous place of potentially disassociating or trying to overlay love and light on top of an actual expression of anger,
mm,
right? Is when you start to look at it from this place. You can't fake joy.
mm,
It's not fakeable. If you are trying to be joyful, trying, it is not genuine joy. Genuine joy is felt in the body. It is like all genuine experiences.
Mm,
If there is anger to feel and express, it must be,
hmm.
right? So, yes, she had that vision, this person that we spoke with years
Right.
ago, and that's a very complex understanding of reality, right? When we start to talk about
Yeah,
the other beings that are involved and included, which exists, and that takes us into a
it's a whole
long
nother show. Yeah,
exactly.
It's
yeah.
another show.
And yet the term genuine joy is something that came to me really clearly over the last couple of years. And I've started to replace the word joy with the phrase genuine joy.
Mm.
Um, because right, you just can't fake it,
It's the
right?
depth again. It's going deeper into not just the quick hit of it, how we become accustomed to it and numb
Yes.
to, but going
Yes.
deeper into it. Y'all, I want to get into the special offer, and as y'all are accessing the page, I want to go back to the point that John made that added to Nora sharing as well. But to get to the special offer page, there's a special offer button underneath the video where you're watching the call from. Click on that. The link's also in the chat box, and you can always find the special offers by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. John, your point of presence really it takes me also into when we can really get into the commitment of presence. We start realizing the preciousness of what is with us in that moment. We
Mhm.
start, there's an appreciation, there's a recognition of the light and the divinity that is choosing to interact with us. When we start feeling more of that through the presence and allow it to penetrate us as we acknowledge it simultaneously, our reason for being, our purpose, our reason for taking a stand for that light becomes obvious because in that presence, in that preciousness of that, how can anybody want to destroy that? The dignity of that, the truth of what that is. So it becomes unmistakable that anything that would try to diminish that experience from us and from this world needs to be guided whenever it's ready into the light, but we are to hold that space rather than acquiescing to the ignorance that would want to
Yes.
take it away.
I love how you so carefully and gently phrased, gently guided into the light, right? Into the light, right? The phrase that I had in my head as you were sharing was like, get the fuck off this world, right?
Well, you
So
caught me in a good day, yeah. I very much carry that sword in my field.
I
It's like
know
you don't
you
belong
do.
here. You need to leave. The door is always open if you want to go into life, but if you're trying to get me into your playground, bye. Right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that you brought it back around to what John was talking about presence in those spaces, right? That to be fully present, to show up when you are with a group of people advocating for change, for supporting our collective, advocating for the most vulnerable among us, to show up fully present in those moments is the most powerful thing you can do. That's right.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll have the special offer page open. If not, don't worry, just follow along with us, but you're going to want to sign up without question. And there's quite it's a robust package. And let's start with the private session that you're going to receive from John. John, it's how long is the session? What can people expect? How do they prepare? Um, and if you can take us into that, that'd be wonderful.
Okay. First, I have to defer to Nora. I just want to make sure I don't misstate. Because, is it the, what are the parameters?
75 to 90-minute
Okay.
long Zoom session, Reiki
Wow.
session with you. Yes. Yes.
Wow. It's 75 to
75
90
to,
minutes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
It's a
about the
Wow.
average.
a
Yeah.
full
O-
Reiki session with John. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, as far as, it's pretty much what I did in the short exercise, just ideally, have something you want to focus on, have something that's an issue or, or not. You don't really have to, but I mean, that's usually people usually come for specific, issues, reasons. Um, and just have a comfortable place to either lay down in your room or if you feel better sitting, that's fine. But most people like to lay down. So if you could contact me, from your bedroom or couch area, whatever, living room. Um, yeah, I think those are the main requirements. Nora, is there anything else that you can think of that?
I would ask, what would you recommend for post session? Because again, for me, just the 5 minutes with you, I was like, I just kind of want to swim in this for a little bit,
Well,
Mm,
it's funny that you said
right?
swim. So definitely a lot of water for the
Mm,
next 24 to 48
drink
hours
water, drink
afterward,
water.
right? Water conducts energy, so water will facilitate a continuation of that. Yes, I would say don't schedule anything for right after your session, and then be present with yourself. Give yourself what you need. You
yeah.
need to go outside and take a walk. You need to take a bath. You need to take a nap. You need to go eat a big meal. You need to eat something small. Like, listen to yourself. Yes.
That's beautiful. I would also recommend it's coming in strongly that we don't use those tools to check out right afterwards, that we don't start binging something, getting on TV, even though we think we're doing nothing, that we're being infiltrated with information that is not the intimacy that was just bought into the field. And so I I would highlight to remain in an intimate space with
I love
yourself.
that. I love that. Available, right? Available to
Yeah.
those energies. And that could be, oh, I need to lie down and sleep for a
Yeah.
while. That could be go sit outside and feel the air and sun or moon on your
hmm
body. Yeah, I love that
But not
too.
the outside influences like
Exactly.
bombarding
No, no,
us,
no.
right?
Outside
Yeah.
in nature.
Yeah,
Outside in
no, for
nature.
sure.
Yeah.
Nature can bombard me.
Beautiful.
Yes.
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 Yeah, right.
For sure. So y'all, part of the special offer is that. And we're ready to have it priced at 147. So y'all are getting that plus, which
It's a
is
Yes.
deal. It's a
just
deal.
it's I love it, a deal.
It's a deal.
Our
It's such a
generation definitely
deal.
says deals. Go Gen X. So we get that deal. And Nora, what else is once you
Yes.
share?
So then the rest of the offer, most of it, the next 10 items, is the
Wow,
totality of my work since the last time I was on your program. So
that's amazing.
every transmission I've done for the last year. And I actually want to draw your attention, everyone, to my last transmission on the
Mm,
list. My mouse is giving me some issues here. So it is item number 10, integration of the higher self and the activation of new technologies. A lot of you know that John and I recently relocated back to our city of origin, Chicago.
mm,
And this is the first live event that I have done since returning to Chicago. It just occurred last month. And it is foundational when it
wow.
comes to my work and the understanding of and facilitation of the integration of your higher self slash fifth dimensional technologies and consciousness and the activation of these technologies from within. So it is fantastic for people who have been listening to me for decades and people who may be completely new to my work. I just heard from someone, in fact, right before the program who has been with us on this journey for many years. He listened to the recording and shared what an incredibly powerful healing journey that was for him. And this is someone who's super familiar with my work.
Mm,
And the people in the audience here in Chicago were all new to my work. So it really spans all of and encapsulates so much of what I've done and developed over the last decade or so since my work shifted a bit about a decade ago. And then scattered throughout then are transmissions about so much about this period of time and going much more into depth.
Mm,
about what you and I talked about earlier here, John, traversing this timeline while being joyful, and how to create, and timeline jumps, and past life influences, and support from the Pleiadians and Yeshua and the fairies and all of the beings who are all
mm,
here supporting. Each recording is anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours long, predominantly me direct voice channeling, and then direct voice channeling in response to questions asked by those participating. And those questions will be relevant to every single one of you, because we all have the same questions. So the answers that come in answer us all.
and the receptivity of the energies again, the second Caliandra came in, I was just like, as of course, joy. It's like, how can I forget? And so
Yeah.
again, the activation of that's in us, but sometimes we forget, we get distracted, we go down another rabbit hole. It's like, wait, come back to yourself. So to be in the presence of all of you in that way, it's that in itself is profoundly healing and transformative. And there's a bonus here, y'all. It's not listed as a bonus, but it's a total bonus because there's subliminal affirmations with channeled music and Reiki infused music. How do you infuse music with Reiki? And I want to get into some Q&A also because there's some great questions that came in. But John, before we go into that, it's like talk to us a little bit more about this that's part of the package as well.
Um, so you want me to answer the question about
Yes.
how do I put Reiki into music?
Yes, please.
Sure, no problem.
It doesn't have to make sense, but it will make
No, okay,
sense.
okay. Well, there we go. That's what I needed.
It's
It doesn't
beyond the
have to make
ordinary.
sense.
Come
You
on.
got it. And then yeah, mostly I'd say it's intention, and then like in line with the idea of presence. Music is about listening, so it's kind of I'll be either playing something on the keyboard or maybe on the guitar, and just listening, like what's coming through. And then at some point something clicks, so to speak, something feels right. Something has that transmission, and so I'll save that piece, and then I'll work with it a little more. Try to say, well, you know, where can I go with this? Where's it? What's the feeling coming through? What's the energy? Um, and that that's you know that's pretty much how the process works. But I'd say listening is the most important thing. I'm just listening for, like I said, what am I like, if I'm intending that this is a music that I want to be uplifting, or I wants to give somebody, may help somebody to heal, to feel more healthy. I just kind of like, what notes, what vibe, do I feel that coming through, and then
What's
just
yours?
keep. What's that?
No, no, I apologize, John.
Oh,
I thought you were wrapping up.
yeah, that's yeah.
No, I was asking Nora, Nora, what's your experience of the music?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of John's music
Yeah.
across the board. Um, from like the pieces with the subliminal affirmations, that's John using his voice to record them, but they are subliminal. You don't hear them, right?
Mm,
They play so your subconscious can hear. Um, I will use his pieces if there's something specific that I'm struggling with or stuck in, and find them to be very effective for me.
mm,
Um, John's music is channeled, right? It's all
yeah.
channeled. So, because he is a Reiki master, and Reiki is a form of channeling, right? That is that Reiki influence and energy and vibration coming into his work. That in and of itself is a healing product.
Mhm.
The music alone is standalone healing.
It's beautiful. And I'm feeling the Tibetan lineage really strongly on this
Mm,
call also.
mm,
It's definitely, I'm sure it's your presence, John, without question. Um, so
thanks.
it's quite wonderful. I'd like to get into a couple of
Yeah.
questions. One question came in and I haven't pulled it up because I'd have to scroll way up. Pardon me that I'm not using your name, but great question. This listener has been working with EMDR as a tool that's helping her right now. And she's curious how Reiki may help to benefit if Reiki would benefit those particular sessions and how she's progressing, or should she keep it separate? Would it be complementary or maybe even augmented, I guess? Yeah.
Yes,
I'll
I mean, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, both of us are. I'll start, and then if John wants to jump in. So
Mm,
here's the thing: nobody can tell you what is going to work for you when you are seeking healing and inviting healing in. That is first and foremost your choice, your decision. John and I are very big on helping people to feel empowered, helping you all to find that empowerment from within. With that being said, Reiki absolutely can work in conjunction with any other form of healing. There is no conflict,
mhm,
right? In fact, one of the things that Reiki is excellent for is working in collaboration with many forms of traditional Western medicine. So people have come to John and had a Reiki session prior to surgery to facilitate a faster and smoother healing and recovery time afterwards, or come to John after surgery for the same thing. So there's no vibrational conflict in any way between Reiki and any other form of healing. It will come in to support and even magnify your experience of the other healing method as well. J-
beautiful.
John, you want to add anything to that? It's a great question. Thank you.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to repeat basically what Nora said. That Reiki. How can I say this? It's 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 in a large part of it is just the idea of support. It's the idea of creating a space, a vessel, to enhance the just functioning on a very micro level, on a very macro level, so that whatever it is you want, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever your goal is, it will enhance it. It will give you extra energy. It'll give you extra motivation, direction, focus, purpose, whatever you want to call all that. That's mostly what it is.
Mm,
And like I said, it happens. It can in a physical way. It happens on a cellular level. It gives your cells an extra level of activation. On a spiritual or energetic level, it enhances your energy centers, your chakras, your brightness, your ability to
mm,
just to be more fully comfortable and active in who you are. So yeah, it's very comprehensive.
And complementary and facilitates the integration of your higher self, fifth
beautiful.
dimensional consciousness into the totality of your third dimensional chakra system.
Mm, mm. So there's a question that came in, and I feel this is maybe for whatever guides may want to show up, because I really want to go deep into this, but because I want to clarify some misperceptions about what healing can and can't be,
Mm.
our individuated journeys through those experiences, and I think all of those things need to be accounted for. But this is great that came in from Joey. He says, "What about spine issues? If you have titanium spine, I don't doubt the healing, but when healed, is the titanium gone?" And and really to talk about healing and what the promise of that, if you will,
Yeah, I love
might
it.
be in different ways, right?
Yeah, this is the Pleiadians. We're gonna jump in and talk about that initially, and then if John wants to bring some pieces in. So think about the multi-dimensional reality and that there are versions of you, many, many versions of you, too many to count, many of which do not have any of the particular issues that you currently have, right? So when you're talking about the spine and the titanium, there are many versions of your energy scattered throughout the multiverse that do not have titanium in your body. Now, will a Reiki session cause that version of you to move into your direct focus of consciousness and allow you to currently exist embodied as you are without titanium? Very unlikely. Yes. What it will facilitate is the highest possible experience for you in this moment and every moment moving forward. Meaning, if there is distress as a response to a foreign body in your body, that distress will be relieved. If there are flexibility issues, perhaps those flexibility issues will dissolve, repair, you will find yourself more flexible, etc. That is a way to perceive it. And there's one other thing here as well about healing. Healing does not mean, quote unquote, all better. Healing is a lifelong journey, the end of which you all know you're going to die, right? That is the ultimate outcome.
Mm.
And in fact, many years ago, before John knew Nora, he was called to the bedside of someone in a hospital to facilitate, as a Reiki master, his death, because that is what was most healing in the moment,
Mm.
death. So Reiki also is most effective when you release attachment to particular outcomes and instead open up to that moment of presence and wholeness.
Mm. Beautiful. John, is there something that you'd like to add?
Mm. Um, no, not right now. No.
Okay. Beautiful. I really appreciate that. And again, it's also going in with clarity and understanding of what we may hope, but we may be projecting onto someone else so that they can take that away from us.
Ah, love that.
And so to go in with we're a reciprocal exchange of what we're responsible for, what they're responsible for, how we're agreeing to show up together, that provides a beautiful field that allows a deeper access. Because we're not putting something or a modality on a pedestal, hoping that it'll alleviate something that it really isn't constructed to do. And even just to have a conversation before a session, this is my fear, this is what I'm hoping to relieve, and all that to understand what someone else may be agreeing to or what their capacities are. It's 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 the intimacy that we all seek in different ways, where truth is the biggest liberator that we can have. But from that truth, what can be built is tremendous. There's so many possibilities. So it's really quite wonderful. Um, y'all, the special offer link again, it's in the chat box. Click on the special offer button underneath the video where you're watching, either live or on the replay. Definitely go deeper with Nora and get your one-on-one session with John. That is epic. That is available that way. The replay will run for the rest of the week. The link will be up a little bit later. It's about 11 o'clock my time, or no, 10:30 my time. So give us a couple of hours. I'm in Hawaii, y'all. So I'm still catching up to y'all. So definitely come back to the replay. And I do have to take off to catch an airplane. I don't want to end so quickly, but if we could, I would love, Jen, if we could take a couple of minutes for your question, so I can go run off and pack also, because I still haven't done that.
It's very quick. I was just in Birmingham for the last 12 days, getting my dad ready to move with his wife to skilled nursing, and his wife will go to assisted living, and it's very difficult because they won't be able to sleep together. They've been together for 8 years in independent living. They sleep together all the time. And I was wondering if a healing session with both of them could help them.
Hmm.
Both jointly at the same time, you mean, correct?
Yes, and they don't know anything about this, but I know that it's very, very scary for them.
Yeah. John? I mean, I have a response, but I'll let John take this because he would be the facilitator.
So you want to know if it would help like to just ease the transition or what exactly?
Yes, with the two of them on a Zoom together, if it's possible. First, if it's possible, absolutely, 100% yes.
Mhm.
We have worked with couples in the past, right? Uh, so yes, I'll just answer. They will be able to answer you, Jenny, better than we could answer you. Can John provide the energetic support container, be a facilitator for them
Mm,
in this circumstance? Absolutely, 100% yes. Are they open to receiving it? And will they feel they can benefit from it? That you will need to discern with them.
okay, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. Yeah.
And can
I,
any of the guides give me guidance, or are they saying anything about how I can best support them?
Yes, this is the Pleiadians here. What you can remind them is that even though physically they will no longer be together at night, energetically, they still will
Mm,
be. And to practice that right now, feeling the energy between them, so they can then use that sensation when they are physically apart.
thank you.
And as you answered that, how can Jenny be supported in the process as well?
Yeah, and I heard this for you, Jenny. Jenny,
Mm,
this is beyond your this is not your path, this is theirs.
mm.
You are here to support them as the being who loves them both, and know that you are doing what is for their highest good, and that these paths are theirs.
Mm,
Yeah,
Thank you.
mm.
yeah.
Beautiful. What an honor. What an honor to honor another's path. Blessings to you, Jenny.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. Ah, tender and how beautiful to end this call today that we can feel everything and want to be of assistance, but also understand that we're also giving others their dignity back to them by allowing them their path rather than interjecting, but knowing when to hold space, knowing it's like it's a dance,
Mm-hmm.
but we have support that's helping us become better dancers. And awareness, we've got joy on our side. We've got those higher vibrational relationships that will guide our hearts and our minds without question. Without question. So how beautiful. Jen, thank you for showing up for your family in the way that you do. Nora, John, oh my God, this is so much fun today. Thank you so much. Are there any parting words that you want to leave the audience with? John, we'll start with you.
Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for sharing your heartfelt uh, love and community. Um, yeah, and again, it's just I'm always just amazed at how much love and how much that sense of unity and togetherness, that we can feel in this through this technology. It's just amazing. And John, you're such a wonderful broadcaster. You're able to tune into these really beautiful and just really hit the right points, of like what we're all doing and how we how what we're bringing across. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for that. And that's a beautiful reflection. I received that. And Nora.
Yeah, let me start by echoing what John just said
Mm,
about you, John.
thank you.
Yeah, Yeah, thank you. Your questions and your ability to listen, to be present yourself, and be the amazing guide and channel
Mm,
that you are. I notice when you go into the channeling state, really obviously and clearly now, at times in our interactions, you're so beautifully gifted in what you
thank you.
bring. This morning I was thinking about the term everything's going to be okay.
Mm,
And the Pleiadians said it's not the most effective term to be seeking. Uh, we understand you want to hear it, but that then hints at a reality that is beyond your control, a power outside of you. Instead, I am okay right now, right? When you're seeking that, is everything going to be okay? Check in with the self. I am okay. If the voice back says, no, I'm not, then take a breath, tune into how you're feeling in the moment,
mm,
get clear. What is it? Am I angry? Am I scared? Am I frustrated? Am I sad? Whatever it is, let yourself feel it fully without judgment, and then ask yourself, what do I need? Not why. Why will throw you into your head and take you out of the moment. How am I? I'm sad. What do I need? I need a hug. I need a cookie. I need to go feel the sun on my face. I need to have that conversation with that person I've been avoiding, whatever it is, right? Give it to yourself. This will bring you to, I am okay in this moment, which then allows for everything to be okay.
Ah, so good. Y'all, just that part's worth coming back to the replay. Wow, all of this. Amazing. John, Nora, thank you. We have to do this again. You guys, I love you guys. It's just, it always feels like
Mwah,
home with you
mwah,
both.
mwah,
Thanks, John. Love you.
mwah.
To you too.
Thanks, everybody.
And to
Bye.
everybody on the call as well. Just blessings, everybody. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you on the next call.